In this video, I will reveal exactly how I won a voice agent hackathon hosted by Herk's community and secured the $5,000 grand prize by building an entire mental health web app in just 12 days. I will show you how I built this web app, all powered by 9 different end-to-end workflows, 5 different types of VAPI voice agents, and a custom-coded Bolt.new web app, and reveal the entire strategy behind it. You want to make sure you watch until the end, because I'll be revealing some pretty crazy things you don't want to miss. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Azim, the CEO of Inspire AI, where we have built over 40 voice agents for businesses, strategized with heads of 8-figure companies, and if you're a business owner, you can actually book a free 15-minute intro chat with my team using the calendar link in the description. Over there, we will create a custom roadmap for your business and give you some advice that can take your business to the next level using voice agents. But if you're someone who is looking to get into the game of learning voice agents and get all of my templates, you can join the Voice AI Academy, my free school community for anyone into voice AI. And with that, let's get right into the video. So in one of my recent videos, I did a complete demonstration of the functionalities of this web app, so if you haven't watched that video yet, I would go ahead and check it out right here. Basically, what I did is develop a full mental health and emotional companion web app. So essentially, when somebody would sign up, they would have to fill out an onboarding form that would give us an idea of what they want to see inside of their personalized voice agent, and what we would do is create that agent, which would know their name, their struggles, and what areas they want to improve in. And after that, they would be able to receive calls, whether on demand, every day in the morning, every day in the evening, or on Sundays. So people are able to pick things like the time they want to be contacted, their companion's preferred gender, so that we can create personalized voice agents that are completely free for everyone. So nowadays, pretty much anyone can make a web app like this and call it a platform or a SaaS of some sort. And it does look like that on the outside, but most people that show that on YouTube don't actually show you how it works on the back end. So for example, how you sign up and create an account and actually get the actions within the web app to do something. And now for automating the main processes of this web app, over here I have my end-to-end open. And here are 9 of my workflows that actually power this entire setup. And to get an actual web app running, 1 or 2 or even 3 workflows is usually not enough to actually make it production ready. And over here I have 9 of them, which actually gets it closer to the production grade level. And just to give you an idea of what one of those workflows look like, let's go ahead into my onboarding form workflow. So typically when somebody signs up for a service or a web app of some kind, you want to get some details out of them. So usually this is done with something like an opening questionnaire or an onboarding form. In my case, I had a simple onboarding form with around 5 questions that would actually give me a much better idea of what the person signing up wants to accomplish. And contrary to many tutorials on YouTube, which don't show the process behind connecting these workflows to the web app, whether it be using Bolt.new or Lovable, it's actually a very simple process that you can pretty much accomplish in less than 5 minutes. And for those of you who are actually not very technical, and are not sure what this end-to-end workflow over here is doing, I'll explain that in just a sec. And also, if you're interested in accessing all of these templates, you can do that by joining my school community. The community itself is free, but to access these workflows, you have to be a part of my premium program, which includes my advanced voice agent templates, a free consultation with me about anything AI or voice agent related, and many more benefits. But anyway, over here inside of this workflow, the first module is something called a webhook. A webhook is something that we literally hook into the web to capture information. In this case, it captures the information that the person filled out in the onboarding form right after they submit it. After their information is extracted, it's passed down to 2 AI agents, which simply go ahead and create the person's profile in a CRM, which in this case is just a simple Google Sheet. Usually, the way you would connect your webhook to your web app is by simply copying the webhook URL, going back into Bolt.new, Lovable, or whatever other vibe coding app you use, and then you would give it some simple directions on where to actually attach this webhook URL. So in this case, I said, here's a webhook URL for the onboarding form. Can you integrate it in such a way that all of the information filled out by a new user in the onboarding form is passed down in a clean format after they submit it? And this requires absolutely no technical or coding experience whatsoever, but just some common sense and careful planning with your web app. And for the other parts of your web app, which I previously referred to as actions, there are many other things that you can do. So other parts of the web app work in a very similar way, because what you have to do is connect webhooks to pretty much any single button that a person can press and expect to receive some sort of response. So in this case, in my mental health web app, I had something called on-demand calling. Essentially, a person would be able to get mental health support at any time of day by just simply filling in some details inside of this form, and then after that's filled in, they could click on begin voice session. And because you would normally expect this begin voice session button to quite simply begin a voice session, you would need to create a separate workflow for that. So in this case, add a complicated workflow like this one, and depending on the web app that you're building, most of your workflows will not nearly be as complicated. But for the sake of just showing you how this works, let me run you through it, and you may notice that the beginning is very similar to what we had before. I will have another website webhook, which captures all of the information that a person fills inside of this form, then extracts it, and then performs a bunch of other processes that actually prepare and execute the action, which in this case is just having that voice session. And in those end-to-end workflows, you will oftentimes need things that are unique to your use case specifically, which means that you will never be able to copy someone else's blueprint or set up and use it inside of your web app. But just as an example, because I am offering some sort of emotional companion or mental health support, I did have to have things like a safety check to make sure the person is all okay. And then I had to have a mental health AI that would fetch the user's profile and make very careful and personalized recommendations for their voice companion, so we could then have a separate branch which writes the prompt for their voice agent and then creates it inside of Appy, which in this case is a voice AI agent platform. And then after that places the call, then gets the call information, makes sure that it actually took place, and then processes the information of the conversation to update the user's history or profile. So essentially what end-to-end workflows are in these types of web apps are things that help you execute the actions. And if you're still thinking that you're not technical enough to do this, or maybe you're just not fit for creating some sort of web app, then you're most likely wrong, because I started just around 4 or 5 months ago, absolutely zero technical experience. And by learning just a few hours a day, I worked my way up to the ranks, where I was able to create fully fledged web apps like these and actually get results with them. And I know that this may have seemed like a bunch of information packed into one short video, but I totally understand you, and that's exactly why I want to make sure that you have the next steps of action available to you. So if you're a business owner that's looking to deploy something like this inside of their business, you can once again feel free to book the intro chat I mentioned earlier in the video to discuss something like this for yourself and see if something like this can help you out. But if you're someone who's leaning towards learning something like this, you can join my free school community. I'll have more information on things like these, so all of those links will be down below in the description, so you can access them right after watching this video. And for those of you who stayed until the end and actually committed yourself, I really appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.